again, a hot summer night for baseball. It's the Brewers and Diamondbacks here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brew Crew in desperate need of a home victory at Miller Park. Dave Bush toes the rubber for Milwaukee, looking for his 6th victory of the season. Has a nice 5-1 mark against Arizona in his career. He'll oppose Daniel Hudson. He hasn't been at this for very long, making his 8th career start and first against the Brew Crew. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Kashan. We continue our broadcast of the Brewers and the Diamondbacks here as we get closer to first pitch. This is Game 3 of a long 4-game set here in the middle of the week between these two clubs. And, of course, the Diamondbacks have grabbed the first 2 in this series, both one-run victories. For the Brew Crew, Corey Hart, good news. He returns to the lineup. He's been out since midway through Sunday with a bad back, and the Brewers have desperately needed him. However, Ryan Braun will remain out. This bizarre wrist injury coming across first base on Sunday. Hope to get him back within the next couple of days. Lorenzo Cain, 7-game hitting streak going as he becomes an everyday starter for the Brewers. They look for the youngsters' energy here in Game 3. Speaking of youngster, everything is Escobar these days. The rookie season, probably over. And he's not playing like a rookie these days either. BA and Rock explain when we return. First pitch on the way on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And brought to you by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. Just another beautiful day for baseball in the Midwest, and we are at Miller Park tonight. The homestand continues. 2 more games remaining in this series with the Diamondbacks. Alcides Escobar, he is starting to become a story here in his rookie season with the bat. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us tonight. The Brewers are looking for their first win of this series after sweeping the Houston Astros. But, Rock, we're seeing an opportunity for a lot of young kids to get some playing time. We've seen Alcides Escobar all year. But all of a sudden, Escobar, you knew about his defense, but his bat is starting to make some news here lately.
You know, it takes a while for a guy, a young player, to come into his own at the major league level. I mean, the competition is very fierce, and sometimes you really have to settle in. It takes a while, and I think Escobar right now getting good pitches to hit, relaxing, understanding the kind of hitter that he is, and we always talk about his defense being so good, but I think the turnaround offensively for Escobar has been a little bit to do with getting out of that number 8 spot in the batting order. When you hit 8, you hit in front of the pitcher. You don't really get a whole lot of good pitches to hit, but when he gets opportunities now, when they pitch to him, he's going line to line, pulling balls all in on him. He's taking them to left, taking the ball away with 2 strikes, doing a nice job making contact. Good situational hitting lately. So Escobar's starting to be the player the Brewers expect.
Escobar in the lineup tonight. He is hitting 7th as the Brewers try to make it win number 1 in this series. Another young player, Lorenzo Cain. He's back in the starting lineup, hitting 2nd tonight. Baseball coming up next from Miller Park. Tonight, and we're set for the 3rd game of this 4-game series. The Brewers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Kurt Gibson, the manager of the Diamondbacks, his bench coach Bo Porter. And here's Gibson's lineup today. It's brought to you by Subway. Arizona winning the first 2 games of this series. He's got Chris Young leading off, Kelly Johnson batting 2nd, Justin Upton in the 3-hole. In the middle of the order, it's Adam LaRoche, Miguel Montero, and Mark Reynolds. Stephen Drew, Gerardo Parra, and Daniel Hudson rounded out. You see the numbers for Reynolds against Dave Bush. A couple of home runs and 13 at-bats. As Dave Bush tries to quiet down this pretty powerful Arizona batting order.
Yeah, making his 23rd start, 24th appearance on the year. Coming off a pretty good start against the Houston Astros right here at Miller Park. Last time out, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, got a no decision. Making his first start of the year against the Diamondbacks.
Let's check the defense for the Milwaukee Brewers, brought to you by Blaine's. It's Lorenzo Cain, Chris Dickerson, and Corey Hart. Casey McGee, Alcides Escobar, Ricky Weeks, and Prince Fielder around the horn with Lucroy catching Bush. Corey Hart back in the starting lineup tonight. Hart had lower back tightness that knocked him out for 3 days, but he returns. Yesterday, he pinch hit. Matter of fact, he's pinch hit the last 2 games and pronounced himself good enough to start here today. Well, Chris Young swinging away on the first pitch. And away we go from Miller Park on a beautiful night for baseball. Temperature soaring into the upper 80s here today in Milwaukee. One last game tomorrow on this homestand. It's tomorrow afternoon. If you're hoping to come out to catch a game while the State Fair is going on. No television tomorrow. So our final telecast until Friday in Colorado. The Brewers headed on the road to Colorado and St. Louis coming up next. The Brewers had won 7 consecutive games against Arizona, going back a couple of seasons before the Diamondbacks won here on Monday night. Now the D-backs winning in back-to-back games. But a rough start today for the Arizona Diamondbacks manager. He gets smoked by a little practice swing in the dugout. So maybe the pregame festivities indicative of what might happen tonight. You know, the Brewers are hoping so.
Yeah, got to be careful around that bat rack. You never know what's going to happen.
It's a good way to get yourself written out of the lineup.
Take a lot more to put Kirk Gibson down than that. He was one of the toughest guys that I can remember playing against. Kirk Gibson. Wow.
The 2-2 to Young. Hit hard right past McGee. And a base hit for Chris Young. Now Young's had a good series here. Had a home run Monday night and then on base 3 times last night. 2 walks, had a double. He stole a couple of bases and he looks like he's locked in at the plate right now.
Yeah, Bushy a couple of pitches ago just missed the outside corner. That time getting too much of the plate and Casey not be able to react in time. Yeah, you're right. Chris Young has done a nice job getting things going for the Diamondbacks last couple of days.
Now Young is a threat to steal. Had 2 stolen bases last night, gives him 24 for the season. Diamondbacks built a lot like the Brewers. They don't do a lot of running, but when they run, usually it's Young who steals the bases, and he steals them with great efficiency this year. He's over 86% stolen base opportunities.
Yeah, typically teams that hit a lot of home runs aren't going to try and steal too many bases. You want to make outs on the bases when you've got the chance to get a 2-run homer instead of a solo shot. When you run with home run hitters coming up, you better make it.
And a swing and a miss. Kelly Johnson down to the count, 0-2. Dave Bush started against the Astros his last time out. He pitched well, took a no decision. Going 6 innings, 3 runs, 2 earned against Houston.
Yeah, good changeup that time, and Kelly Johnson right underneath.
Bush with the most pitches he's thrown in a start in his last time out. Took him 119 pitches to get through 6 innings. In the air to center. Dickerson is there for it. Out number 1. Well, Dave Bush early on this homestand against the Astros. That was a big comeback win for Milwaukee. Bush went 6, took a no decision. He left as in a losing position, but the Brewers were able to come back and win the game with a 4-run bottom of the 9th inning. And a last at-bat win for Milwaukee, taking Bush off the hook.
Yeah, it's one of those games where Dave put a lot of men on base, but the Houston Astros not able to cash in. They were only 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position when Bush was on the mound. And Dave stranded 8 base runners.
30-year-old Dave Bush, his 23rd start of the season. Made 1 appearance out of the bullpen. Facing Justin Upton here in the first inning. Chris Young over at first. And a strike from Bush. Upton lays off. Now Bush has that cut fastball. Such a big pitch for Dave Bush. Can he hit the outside corner to a right-handed batter with a fastball? And can he command the cut fastball? Those are the two pitches that really make or break a Dave Bush start.
Yeah, the cut fastball and that comeback sinker to right-handers. It starts off the outside corner and then comes back to catch the edge. He hasn't been using that pitch much lately, but his last time out threw it a couple of times and had good success. Just can't get too much of the plate, and when he does, he can get away with it from time to time as long as he's down in the strike zone. But he gets the ball up, that's when he gets in trouble.
And Upton shatters his bat. Escobar flips, Weeks the turn, and it is in time. The speedy Upton was slow to get out of the box. And on a slow roller, the Brewers able to turn up a double play. Escobar to Weeks to fielder. And Bush is out of the first. Against the Astros, but have dropped the last two. Here's Maka's Subway lineup. He's got Corey Hart back in the lineup tonight. Ryan Braun still out with a wrist injury, so Hart hits third. You got Weeks and Kane in front of him, and then it's Prince Fielder, Casey McGee, and Chris Dickerson. Alcides Escobar, Jonathan Lucroy, and Dave Bush rounded out the Subway batting order for Milwaukee against a guy I think we're all anxious to see. It's Daniel Hudson making his first appearance against Milwaukee, and Rock, this was the key piece in the trade with the White Sox for Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, so far so good for Hudson. In two starts, he's 2-0 and a 1.15 earned run average. And if you combine his numbers with the Diamondbacks and the White Sox, he's a 3-1 guy with a 373 earned run average. So he has been throwing very well both in the American League and so far in the National League.
So Daniel Hudson facing Ricky Weeks to start it here in the first inning. Weeks back in the leadoff spot after 2 days batting third. Well, Ricky doing a lot of damage from that leadoff position when he was hitting third. You're wondering how long he was going to be in that spot. Ricky did not have an RBI as a three-hole hitter. So the 71 RBIs that he has for the season, all as a leadoff man. You see his pace. Ricky Weeks trying to get to 100 RBIs. That would be a record for leadoff hitters. As he swings and misses, down he goes on strikes. Defensively for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Gerardo Parra in left, Chris Young in center, Justin Upton in right. The infield is Mark Reynolds, Stephen Drew, Kelly Johnson, and Adam LaRoche. And a battery of Miguel Montero and Daniel Hudson. Montero had the big home run yesterday that gave the Diamondbacks the lead. And Hudson has come fast to the big leagues. Drafted in 08 out of Old Dominion. Didn't have much prospect status with the White Sox. He was ranked 24th in their organization in 09, and then prior to this season, he was the third highest rated prospect in Chicago system. So he made the big jump after a lot of winning pitching down in the minor leagues.
Well, you never know when a guy's going to finally get it. You know, something clicks. Maybe a pitching coach gets to him and has a chat with him, but all of a sudden this guy has been able to throw strikes with 3 pitches. Not afraid to throw the ball over the plate. You got to love that with a young pitcher. We saw Enright last night. He was more of a short armor. Hudson a long armor, which will give him some natural sink on his fastball.
Began the year at AAA Charlotte, and in 17 games in AAA, Hudson won 11, and he won 7 of his last 9. That's tough to do. It's tough to win double digits in the minor leagues anyway. There's a lot of pitch limit constrictions. Usually you don't see many starting pitchers in the minor leagues go more than 100 pitches. And that cost a few wins here or there. But to win 11 games out of 17 he started gives you an idea of his ability to win games, keep the opposition down. And he's been a winner as a professional. And that's why his prospect status has been so elevated. Last year in the minor leagues, he was 14-5.
Now what that means, he throws strikes and gets a lot of outs early in counts. He doesn't throw many pitches. That's why he's able to eat up innings, get wins, and still stay under that pitch restraint.
Lorenzo Cain rips one foul in the seats.
I mean, look at this guy so far. Hudson, 2 starts, 15 2/3 innings. He's only allowed 2 runs. So 7 or more innings in each of his 2 starts for the Diamondbacks. That's pretty good work.
His first start was against the Mets in New York, and he won that game. And then he beat the Padres last week. Arizona took the series from San Diego. So they're playing good baseball here, having won 4 of their last 5 games. There's Barry Enright, last night's starter.
He was impressive last night. Had a good curveball. He threw strikes. Got himself out of some trouble.
Now Cain has worked it even, 2-2. Lorenzo 9 for 19 at the plate as a big leaguer. .474 batting average in this series. You see the 3 for 7. And another foul ball. Cain's been a tough at bat. He's already kind of moved up and down the batting order, and that'll probably continue here the rest of the season. Tonight, Cain gets to start in left field with Corey Hart returning. It's Cain who fills in for Ryan Braun.
Yep, led off last night. The night before, Cain was in a number 6 spot, and he's played 3 different outfield positions.
That starts in center, right, and left over the last 3 days. The 2-2. Another bouncer foul. Cain hanging tough. Cain had a great year going down to the minor leagues this season. He was named to the AA All-Star team. He began the year in Huntsville in the AA Southern League. Promoted to AAA Nashville. Combined, he hit over 300. In 62 games in AA, Cain hit .324. Had 3 homers, 18 RBIs. And then in 22 games in AAA, hit .299. No homers, 9 RBIs. Down he goes on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hudson.
Third batter, the right fielder, number 1, Corey Hart.
Well, certainly it's good to have Corey Hart back in that lineup. Boy, the Brewers really missed Ryan Braun and Corey Hart. The news on Ryan Braun was pretty good today. Took batting practice, took some fly balls and made some throws.
Well, you might see Braun back in the lineup tomorrow. Certainly you'll see him back in there for the opener of the Rockies series on the road Friday night. They might use tomorrow's day game. But we'll see how Braun responds after baseball drills today. Back into baseball form today. And that's when you take batting practice and you do your regular outfield drills and see how that wrist responds. Braun injured his wrist Sunday. Hart also left that game Sunday against Houston with tightness in his lower back.
You know, it was a good sign that Ken Maka used Braun as a pinch runner. That must have meant when he did that Braun wasn't going to be out very long, because the last thing they would have wanted to do was to put Braun in the game and then not be able to retroactive that DL. So the fact that they used him last night in the ball game was a very good sign that he's getting better.
The 1-2, and Hart swings and misses, and Daniel Hudson strikes out the side in the first inning. Coming as advertised, I guess. Wow. Strikes out the side in the first.
Hey, follow the Brewers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com at Bat 2010. It's got play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Go to Brewers.com today for details.
Second inning, and here's LaRoche. Adam LaRoche with 73 runs batted in. He's been their best run producer this year. Well, you look at this Arizona lineup, you look at this pitching they've been able to acquire, bringing up Enright from their system, trading for Daniel Hudson. It's hard to believe this club is 45-69. They're 24 games under 500.
Well, before they got some of this young pitching, their pitching was, you know, their Achilles heel, if you will. You know, dead last in the National League in earned run average. And it's not just their starting rotation. Their bullpen was not very good either. But they've always been able to score runs. They're fifth in the league in runs, third in homers. It's a very dangerous offensive team, and now they're starting to get some pitching.
Well, the Diamondbacks have 5 pitchers on their current roster that were acquired in trade. They were very busy leading up to the trade deadline. They traded away Chris Snyder, Connor Jackson, Edwin Jackson, who threw a no-hitter for the Diamondbacks earlier this year, and Dan Herron. So while they sent out some veterans, they received a lot of players in return. McGee on the carom, unable to make the play, and LaRoche is safe on an infield hit. Looks like Dave Bush is all right. Well, every time you see a comebacker to Dave Bush, you think back to the Hanley Ramirez line drive last year that altered his season.
Yeah, tried to get that foot in the way, slowed it down, hit it over to Casey McGee, just a little bit late getting over to first base. That's a good pitch by Bush. He kept it down in the strike zone. That's what he needs to do. You'll give up the singles. You don't want to leave that pitch up in the zone and have him pop it out of the ballpark.
Infield hit for LaRoche. Here is Montero. This guy's been a tough out, Montero. He homered yesterday in the 8th inning. It was a leadoff home run against Chris Capuano, and it was all the Diamondbacks would need. It gave them the lead in the 8th. Their bullpen shut the Brewers down, and it was a 2-1 Arizona win. Neither starter factored in a decision. Manny Parra and Barry Enright. Lorenzo Cain, and it's out number 1. Well, hot shots back to the mound always brings back the memories of Dave Bush last year, June 4th. And it truly altered his season after that. He tried to pitch through that injury, and it even carried over to 2010, I think, especially with the velocity from Dave Bush.
Yeah, velocity last year before he got hit on that elbow was in the low 90s, 91, 92 from time to time. But very rarely, if ever, right now does Dave get over 90, which makes it even more important that he keeps the ball down in his zone.
One gone for Mark Reynolds. Batting 6th in Kirk Gibson's lineup last 2 nights. Reynolds had a couple of key walks in the win on Monday, the extra inning win for Arizona. And then yesterday was 1 for 4.
Yeah, a couple of guys to watch in this ball game against Dave Bush. Mark Reynolds, we talked about his success, and Stephen Drew. Drew 6 for 14 with a home run against Bush. And Dave has had pretty good success against the Diamondbacks in 7 starts in his career, 5-1. Actually had his career high in strikeouts, 11 last year against Arizona. So he's pitched well against these guys.
Did not face the Diamondbacks the first time around in Arizona back in early May. Last pitched against the D-backs last September. And as Rock mentioned, one of his better starts with those 11 Ks and 7 innings of just 1-run baseball. Two balls and a strike on Reynolds. And Bush want to go through the signs again with Lucroy. Strike, 2-2. Mark Reynolds, one of the core Diamondbacks that have been locked up to long-term contracts. All of those deals done by former GM Josh Burns, who was relieved of his duties earlier this year. Jerry DiPoto is the interim general manager for the D-backs. It's an organization in transition, but Jerry DiPoto has taken over, and all of a sudden he's made all these trades, and he's given the Diamondbacks a little life heading into next year, at least from what we've seen with their young pitching.
Yeah, manager let go, general manager let go, so apparently there was a problem in the overall scheme of things with the Diamondbacks, and they think they're on the right track. Question is, does Kirk Gibson become the manager next year? They have not really made any decisions along those lines, and they really haven't said much about it.
Labeled as the interim manager for the rest of the season. Gibson was the bench coach for A.J. Hinch. What a great player he was. A Dodger, a Tiger, and maybe the biggest home run in a World Series, most memorable home run. He's on that short list. 1988 against Dennis Eckersley.
Yeah. Limping around the bases. One of the most intense players I had ever played against. Wasn't a whole lot of messing around with that guy. And that's kind of the mentality that he's brought to this ball club. He's made these Diamondback players accountable for the things that they do on the field and off the field. And if they don't do something the right way, they find some pine. Not afraid to bench a player.
Well, for whatever reason, sometimes those who were great players, and you could certainly say that Kirk Gibson was one of the elite group of players during his era, that they don't make the best managers. But you think about guys like Joe Torre, who won an MVP, became a great manager, still managing with the Dodgers. There's a swing and a miss, and Reynolds down on strikes. Dave Bush with his first strikeout, and it's out number 2.
Well, the fastballs have been down in the strike zone so far for Bushy, and there's that changeup that he's been throwing. That's a good one. Bushy ordinarily not going to throw too many of them to right-handed batters, but he's able to get that one by Mark Reynolds.
So 2 outs, and Stephen Drew at the plate. LaRoche still at first base.
Where do you think Dusty Baker falls into that category of good players, great players? He was a very good player. Great, I'm not sure if you call him great. Not the Kirk Gibson category, in my opinion.
Right.
But Dusty Baker has had a lot of success.
Now, what separates guys like Gibson and Joe Torre from Dusty Baker and some other managers who have played in the big leagues for a long time is the MVP awards. Gibson and Torre both with most valuable player awards. Drew flies out, and the inning is over. So Bush works around a leadoff hit for the second consecutive inning, and now Prince Fielder ready to lead off. When we come back, we're headed to the bottom of the second.
And Prince is making his 300th consecutive start, and that is the longest streak in Major League Baseball, and he's already shadowed the franchise record previously held by Robin Yount with 274. And before today's game, we had a chance to ask Ken Maka if he ever thought about pulling Prince and given him a day off over the last year and a half, and he said actually during the last Pittsburgh series he really contemplated it because Prince had a bruised hand. But once Prince got word of that, he wasn't having that. And he was very adamant about playing, and he continues to be that way, wanting to play every single day, guys.
And there's a big difference between a guy who wants to play every day and a guy who basically earns the right to demand when he wants to be in the lineup every day. And you can't take him out. Prince Fielder, the success he's had playing every day and putting up the numbers he's put up,
Well, you'd certainly rather have a guy like that, complaining that he's going to be getting a day off as opposed to a guy that is looking for ways to stay out of the lineup. And fortunately, the Brewers don't have many guys like that, if any. But in order to be a leader on your ball club, you have to be available and be in that lineup every day, and that's certainly what Prince has been able to do so far.
Fielder in the deep center field. That is way back. How far? Bangs off the middle right side. A mammoth home run from Fielder. Number 25 of the year for Prince. And the Brewers have a 1-0 lead in the second inning.
Well, it's been a while for Prince with a long ball, but he's certainly been driving into runs without hitting home runs. Well, check this swing out. Fastball right down the middle, and just a question of how far was it going to go. Talk about getting extension and getting it on the sweet spot and a nice follow through. And home run number 26 for Prince. His first home run since July 22nd. So it's been a while. Bingo off the Miller light side.
That is a huge home run. Now McGee goes into deep right center field. That ball's well hit. And that baseball is gone. Casey McGee sends one out of here. Back-to-back home runs from Fielder and McGee, and it's 2-0 Brewers.
A couple of fastballs right down Main Street. Looks like Hudson trying to get ahead in the count early, and the Brewers flexing their muscles in the second inning. Check it out. Almost the identical pitch to Prince Fielder. Might have been down just a little bit more to Casey. And look at McGee taking that ball to the opposite field. He lets it travel, puts a nice swing on it, and the backspin out of here into right center. Two beautiful swings end up about outstanding contact points right there by both Prince Fielder and Casey McGee.
6th time this season the Brewers have gone back-to-back in an inning. And Casey McGee now a career high with 17 home runs, surpassing his total from a year ago. 2-0 Brewers. Here is Chris Dickerson.
Casey McGee continues to be able to use right field very effectively. He got a double in last night's ball game down the right first base line. Kept the Brewers alive. And showing good power. First pitch from Hudson and driving this ball out of the ballpark. Check it out. Talk about identical spots in the strike zone. Prince's might have been a little bit higher than Casey's, but both able to get good extension and both getting it on the sweet spot. Prince to center, Casey to right.
Well, when McGee hit his, it looked for a moment like it was too much on a line to get up and out of here, but he had so much behind it. You mentioned the backspin he put on the baseball. That ball just kept traveling, and it ends up on the other side of the wall. I thought it was going to knock the wall down for a minute. Fielder's was a no-doubter from the time it left the bat. Just the sound alone told you that that ball was headed somewhere deep. Now Dickerson with a base hit. Dickerson hustling around first. He'll settle for a single. And that is his first hit as a Milwaukee Brewer. Chris Dickerson is on the board.
Well, in his first 5 starts in the big leagues, White Sox and Diamondbacks, Hudson had an opponent batting average of .207. And the Brewers finding something right now. You know, the fastball getting a lot of the plate. Dickerson getting one down in the zone and hitting it hard out of the reach of Kelly Johnson. Scott giving up 6 hits in his first 2 starts with the Diamondbacks and 3 in this inning.
Mel Stottlemyre Jr. a visit with Daniel Hudson. A quick trip to the mound in the second inning. 2 runs are in on a couple of homers. Fielder and McGee. And the Powerball home run leaderboard updated now. Fielder with 25. He joins Mark Reynolds for the 5th most in the National League right now. Adam Dunn still leads the league with 30. Corey Hart, Ricky Weeks with 23. And now McGee with a career high 17. Now Well, we hit the air tonight talking about Alcides Escobar and how well he has swung the bat lately. Really since the All-Star break, and even more so since Ken Maka moved him out of the 8th spot in the batting order. And you think that's really contributed to his success at the plate?
No, that's helped him, but that's not the reason why he's been so hot. One of the contributing factors, perhaps, it's been about 11 or 12 days since Escobar has been up in the batting order. But he's just starting to, find that comfort level. It takes some players a little bit longer than others. Not everybody can be Ryan Braun, but right out of the gate starts swinging the bat and looking like an all-star. So, Escobar, both defensively and at the plate, is starting to become the player that the Brewers expected him to be.
Not known as a home run hitter, Escobar, but he did homer yesterday on a high towering fly ball to left. Truly a wall scraper yesterday, but it was the only Brewers run. Powerball home run number 3 for Escobar in Game 2 yesterday.
Wall scrapers count.
Absolutely. You see Fielder hit his off the scoreboard, and then you see Escobar just go right to the back of the wall.
Yep, and both of them count the same.
Count the same.
You don't mind him hitting him in the game, but when he hits him in batting practice, Willie Randolph gets on him pretty good.
There's a line drive back up the middle. That's a good sight. Dickerson's going to challenge, and he falls down. The throw to second, and now Dickerson in a rundown. Escobar will go to second, and Dickerson will take the tag. Dickerson was aggressively around the bag. He was headed for third, but he slipped and fell, and he becomes an easy out.
No, he did the right thing. He got in a rundown long enough for Escobar to get to second base. So a mistake by Dickerson. I think it might have been a mistake for him to continue to third base. That was the one mistake. I mean, the idea to try to get to third base. Chris Young with a pretty good arm out in center field. I think he would have been an out at third. He falls down, and because of that, he gets in a rundown and allows Escobar at least to get to second base. You can see when he turned second base, Young had the baseball. He would have been out at third.
Now, Chris Young among league leaders in outfield assists this year. So that was certainly a gamble by Dickerson to even have a thought of challenging the arm of Young. At any rate, it's the first out, and here is Lucroy. You can understand Dickerson's position. I mean, he said about his potential at-bat on Monday night. He was in the on-deck circle in the 10th inning. He said he was more nervous for that potential at-bat than he was for his first Major League at-bat.
Wants to make a good impression. He told us that he's a guy that could be aggressive on the bases.
Line drive, snap throw. Escobar is out. Escobar thought he was back, rung up by C.B. Buckner. And a couple of base running blunders by the Brewers here. Hilton, your ticket to more. Back at Miller Park, check out this lawnmower here. This is a Simplicity riding lawnmower, and it's up for raffle tonight here at the ballpark. Signed by the entire Brewers team, plus some celebrities, some alumni. And they're doing an auction here tonight, a live raffle, I should say, here at the ballpark tonight. And that lawnmower kind of came about through Marcus Hamill, the Brewers bullpen catcher. And Marcus joins us now out in the bullpen. We want to talk about the lawnmower. We also want to hear about the bullpen, but have you heard how sales are going right now? Is there any way you can get that information during a game?
Well, my wife maybe stopping by, give me a little heads up. But, before the game, a couple of the guys in the clubhouse did a pretty good job of buying up some tickets. So we're looking forward to see when the winner gets announced if one of those guys has won one of the prizes.
Yeah, Marcus, tell us about your Coos for Kids charity. What do you guys do? What is the charity all about?
We help terminally ill and disadvantaged kids in southeastern Wisconsin. So it's one of it's very rewarding just to be able to have a platform as being with the Brewers to help out. And what we've done is we've been able to help underprivileged kids with a Challenger Baseball League. We've also bought over 500 coats this past winter to give to kids who are of need. Also have the opportunity to help kids at Children's Hospital who might not have the resources to keep up with school by buying them some laptops so they keep up with school, friends, all that kind of stuff. So almost like a little bit of a Make-A-Wish, but just in a way just to give back to the community and help out any way we can.
Now you got a big dinner coming up, too. How can people get involved in your dinner?
August 22nd, down in Racine at the festival site there. You can buy tickets, come be a part of that. You get a dinner. The guys will be come down there for autographs, players, coaches. There's silent live auction. So any way you can participate with that, that'd be huge.
Marcus Hamill joining us now, Brewers bullpen catcher. We always like to get Marcus on this time of the year, talk about his Coos for Kids down in Racine. A Wisconsin native, we actually see Marcus around a lot in the winter months and handing out those coats. Give us an idea of the bullpen scenario right now. I'm surprised no one's pestering you at this point of the interview. I'm actually surprised because they came here half an inning ago and said they were going to start to pester if they're not behind me already doing it. So, these are a good group of guys who come out early, especially with Trevor and with Hawkins kind of leading the way, showing these guys what it takes to have a long career, building unity and friendship. And, man, it's been a pleasure to be with these guys down here this year. You got to give us the John Axford, Trevor Hoffman dynamic as they are basically co-closers at this point. Yeah, you know what? I don't even know if they even view it as that. I know Axford's very fortunate and very excited to have the opportunity he's had. I know he still looks, this is a different situation. You're looking at an all-time closer in Trevor, a guy just unbelievable character, a guy who, he's just not replacing a guy who's done it for a year or two. Trevor's been a guy who's actually mentoring him in ways how to prepare. So, it's a very good fit for these guys, the way he's been building up Axford.
And Trevor's been your most generous ticket buyer for the lawnmower this year and last year, from what I understand. Tell us about that story last year. Well,
last year he ended up winning the lawnmower, and I think he donated it to Craig Counsell. And actually, I guess Counsell was saying today that there's even been some Twitter pages or some people making some pictures and comments and blogs because here's this brewer riding a Brewer lawnmower, Brewer gear, cutting his own lawn. So I'm shocked that Counsell cuts his own yard, first of all. Well, actually, and with that nice he does it on a Brewer's lawnmower. And the only thing is, he said he was able to trim, the fat by, eliminating his lawn guys. So he was able to do that with a nice lawnmower. How about that? A gift from Trevor Hoffman to Craig Counsell.
That was an expensive lawnmower for Trevor. Now, Marcus, Trevor bought $1,000 worth of tickets this year?
Yes, he did. So very fortunate. The guys in the clubhouse have been very supportive of, of a lot of charities and a lot of things around this community, but especially for mine, it's been a blessing to have these guys. And, we're pretty excited to see if some of these guys get called today in the fifth inning. All right, your dinner and auction for Coos for Kids happening Sunday, August 22nd, Racine Festival Hall. What kind of appearances can we expect? Do you have a lot of players locked down at this point? Yeah, we do. We have, Bronny will be down there again. Giovanni, Trevor, Axford, a couple of the other. There's going to be a lot. Corey Hart, Bush, you name it. Most of the guys will be down there, along with with Stan Kiles and Dale Swaim and Eddie Cedar, and Davey Nelson will be emceeing the event. So it will be a great time and a great event for all to have.
All right, Marcus, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate your insights on the bullpen down there, and we hope you have a very light night tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Marcus Hannell. We call him Coos, and he runs the Coos for Kids operation. And you and I both have had a chance to MC that event in the past. It is a great event, and they do a lot of great work down in Racine and all through Milwaukee. I see Coos every year at the turkey giveaway for Thanksgiving. He's usually handing out bags full of coats.
Yep, the gentle giant, we call him. Big guy, heart of gold. He and his wife. And just about the whole team, coaching staff and players go down there for that dinner. Good time.
So 2 outs. Bush has a couple of strikeouts after a leadoff single. It is fascinating to hear a firsthand account of the John Axford, Trevor Hoffman connection down there. And, Axford says as much. Every time you interview John Axford, he talks about Trevor and the kind of impact that he has on him daily. And what could be a very awkward situation, as Axford has had a chance to close games. The banner is out there at 597, counting down to 600. Because of Trevor's presence, it has really not been an issue whatsoever.
And you wouldn't expect it would be. Not with Trevor Hoffman. I mean, you talk about a consummate professional, and he is a very well-respected teammate down in that clubhouse. Even through the struggles for Trevor, never did change. Same guy. And it's not often that you could say Trevor Hoffman has struggled throughout his career. He is not used to that, but he's handled it pretty well.
We'll see how Ken Maka will play it the rest of the season. Hoffman is just 3 saves away from 600. He is the all-time saves leader in Major League Baseball. So with every save, it's a new record.
Dave Bush starting to break out that curveball now. First time through, didn't use it. It was basically fastball, cutter, changeup. Now he's starting to throw that curveball.
Ball and a strike on Kelly Johnson. Bush with 3 strikeouts now. And a bouncer to Prince right on the bag. Out there, doesn't need to make a throw. Prince is just whipping it around just for fun. Good inning for Bush. $200,000 to build a Miracle League baseball field for children with physical and mental disabilities. Your vote could make a huge difference for our community and thousands of children. So get out your cell phone and text Brewers to 76462, or you can go to the Brewers page at foxsportswisconsin.com, click on the Miracle Field logo, and you can vote up to 25 times daily for this great cause. 2-0 Brewers on back-to-back solo home runs. Fielder and McGee in the second. Bush a little bouncer back to Hudson. And that's the first out of the third inning. And that leads us to our U.S. Cellular text to vote question for the week. And we'll give you tonight's results in our Brewers Live postgame. Do you think Ricky Weeks will break the MLB record for RBIs by a leadoff hitter, which is right now at 100? Darren Erstad in the year 2000. W for yes, X for no, 234. 234 is the number. Send the corresponding letter, yes or no. So Erstad with 102,000. All American leaguers on this list in the top 5. And this is going back to 1974. Craig Biggio has the National League record at 88. So Weeks starts play today with 71 runs batted in. He's inside the top 10 in RBIs. And after 2 days batting third, he's back in the leadoff spot here tonight. A shot right to Hudson. Out number 2. So 2 outs, and here comes Lorenzo Cain. And Lorenzo's in our Carsoup.com email the booth question tonight. Drew in Belgium. What are the chances Lorenzo Cain is playing every day for the Brewers next season? I'd say very good chances that could happen.
Well, you got Harton right. You've got Ryan Braun in left. And it will be, perhaps barring any major deals over the offseason, you got to figure it's going to be Lorenzo Cain at least getting an opportunity to win that job in spring training. And a lot will be determined on how he performs for the next couple of months. But the Brewers like him. They will give him every opportunity to win that job.
Now Lorenzo Cain has certainly made an impact already in just 20 Major League at-bats. Has 9 hits. He has 3 doubles. He's driven in 3 runs. Cain stole his first base in the big leagues on this homestand. And down he goes on strikes for the second time. So a quick inning for Hudson. 1, 2, 3. The Brewers go in order. 2-0 Crew.
Staff hosted the 2010 Play campaign. Play, which stands for Promoting a Lifetime of Activity for Youth, is a public awareness campaign developed by the Professional Baseball Athletic Trainers Society, the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee, and the Menominee Falls Little League participated in the event this morning. And what 2 better guys you would rather want to do that with than Roger Cavalinger and Dan Wright?
Yeah, that was a great event earlier today. It was good to see Ryan Braun out with the kids as well, and had a speech about performance-enhancing drugs, and a representative from the Taylor Hooten Foundation here as well. So a good education today, and some great ideas to get started with a workout. You know, we don't want our kids to be in there playing video games all day. We want them out there playing. And
get out running around. And it's not just the coaches and players putting on clinics and helping Milwaukee's youth. It's the athletic trainers as well. Roger Kaplinger and Dan Wright, Chris Joyner, the strength and conditioning coach, as if they don't have enough to do already.
But they love it. I talked to Roger earlier today, and it's an event that's near and dear to his heart, and we certainly tip our hat to those athletic trainers, strength coaches all across Major League Baseball who participate in this event. A high fly ball to right, and Hart will run it down for the out. So Upton is retired. And one away in the fourth. It leads us to our AT&T trivia. Who are the 4 Major League teams that Kirk Gibson played for during his career? MVP turned manager. By our count, it's just 2. Joe Torre and Kirk Gibson. I think across baseball, his most famous home run came as a Dodger, but he had a pretty big home run in 1984 as well.
Yeah, World Series. I can't think of a guy that was better suited for a ballpark than Kirk Gibson in Tiger Stadium.
Right.
That short porch out there and right. Actually, that second deck hung over into fair territory. And combination of, talk about a 5-tool guy, right?
Right.
Home runs, stolen bases, great arm, can cover a lot of ground out there in right field. We've talked a lot about Kirk Gibson, but certainly deserves the opportunity.
Well, you were back behind the plate for a number of those Kirk Gibson at-bats. How'd you pitch Kirk Gibson? What was the game plan with him?
Well, you tried to get him up and in, but if you made a mistake with him, like a lot of pitchers, you make a mistake up and in, you're going to pay. He's one of those guys that went to the opposite field very well, drew his walks, but he struck out a lot, so he's kind of indicative of his own club right now. I mean, walked a lot, struck out a lot. There's more of those type hitters than you think.
Now, it's interesting that Kirk Gibson, you talked about his Tiger days with Lance Parrish and that big, powerful lineup. Lance Parrish's son, David Parrish, is the Diamondbacks advanced scout. So there's a Parrish-Gibson combination still in Major League Baseball. But it's David, the son of Lance, who works inside for the D-backs.
I remember David running around as a young kid on the field when Lance Parrish and I were teammates with the California Angels, 1989 and 90. We're getting old.
How about those?
At least I am.
Those 2 catchers with the Angels, Rock and the Big Wheel.
The Big Wheel. Parrish. He was something else, that guy.
Yeah, 2 big boys.
I remember a game against the White Sox, and Lance Parrish and Carlton Fisk went at it. They were pushing and shoving and grunting and groaning. It looked like 2 rhinos butting the heads. 2 of the biggest catchers you'll ever find in baseball. Those 2.
Lance Parrish is a big fan of Bill Schroeder's. The Rock.
And vice versa.
One of his favorite teammates, he said. As LaRoche sends one deep to right, and that baseball is gone. So Adam LaRoche continues his banner year. That's his 19th home run. 74 RBIs now, and it's 2-1 Milwaukee. All 3 of the runs have come on solo homers, which is more like what you'd expect from these 2 teams.
That pitch out over the plate. Bushy didn't get it down enough. And Adam LaRoche going down to get it. A classic left-handed swing. Likes it down and in. He got it there and knocked it out of the ballpark. He's had some big games against the Brewers as a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates. This guy's been bounced around quite a bit for as good a hitter as he is.
Yeah, remember last year he was traded twice in the span of a week. one slicing down the left field line, and that baseball is foul, just foul down in the corner. Ball and a strike on Miguel Montero, who bats with one away. I think the big question is, will Adam LaRoche remain in a Diamondbacks uniform the rest of the year? You see the replay here, just foul. Great shot up there. And cameraman Jesse. Actually, Rick's up there today. Rick's up there in the danger spot.
They're all well fed tonight.
There's Rick, steady as she goes. Tom's excited back there too. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, good off-speed pitch by Bushy that time. Good location down and away. That's where you want that changeup.
The 1-2 pitch. That one's hit high and deep, and that baseball's not coming back. All tied at 2 as Montero delivers a home run. So the Diamondbacks answer the Brewers back-to-back homers with 2 of their own in the 4th.
Yeah, Dave Bush had gone 3 starts without giving up a long ball, and has given up back-to-back homers in the 4th inning. After a very good changeup, he missed his spot with a fastball, and Montero made him pay for it. Not a home run hitter, but he's hit home runs on back-to-back nights. Can't get away with that location, not at 88 miles an hour. As we said, Dave Bush can get away with getting the plate, but it's got to be down. That one got a lot of the plate and up in the zone.
Back-to-back home runs for Arizona with 1 away. And now it's Mark Reynolds, the Diamondbacks home run leader. Well, Montero's had a good series. His home run last night proved to be the game winner for Arizona. Montero had 2 hits and an RBI on Monday night as well, on base 3 times. In the air to left. That one's got a chance to go. Kane running out of room. And it's 3 consecutive home runs for the Diamondbacks. And Mark Reynolds gives you a good glimpse at just how powerful his bat can be.
Yeah, a couple of home runs on a fastball, and it looked like Bushy threw him an off-speed pitch. Mark Reynolds able to reach out and knock it out of here. Curveball stayed up in the zone. It was away, but Reynolds strong enough to be able to hook it. He went out and got it, hooked it out of here to left. So a high breaking ball, outer half, and Reynolds able to knock it out of here, way out of here, off the facing of the second deck on the ball that was away, and he hooked out of the ballpark.
So the D-backs lead it 3-2. Last time the Diamondbacks hit 3 consecutive home runs back in 2002. Still just 1 away. And Stephen Drew at the plate. Drew hits one high and deep to right center. That one's got a chance to go. It's gone. 4 consecutive home runs for the Diamondbacks. LaRoche, Montero, Reynolds, and Drew. And it's 4-2 Arizona.
That's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that a team can do that. 4 consecutive home runs. I don't recall ever seeing that before. There's that fastball trying to go away from Stephen Drew, up in the zone. Again, up. If you get that ball down, you might have a chance to keep it in the ballpark, but a line drive bullet. Only question wasn't going to be high enough, and 4 consecutive home runs by the Diamondbacks.
And a base hit to right. Boy, it has fallen apart in a hurry for Dave Bush. My goodness. 5 consecutive hits, the first 4 long balls. And now Gerard Opara gets into the act with a single to right, still just 1 out.
And they're getting hits on just about every one of Dave Bush's pitches. This hadn't been one pitch. Most of them have been fastballs. Mark Reynolds hit a curveball out of the ballpark. Still only 1 out. Bush was able to retire the first batter in this inning. And that's been it.
Bush facing the pitcher Daniel Hudson. Hudson struck out his last time up trying to bunt. He does get this one down, and Lucroy's only play is first. So that'll go as a sacrifice bunt. That's the second out. After Bush surrendering 4 consecutive home runs to Arizona.
Well, getting a lot of the plate. A couple of left-handers getting pitches down the middle. The one to LaRoche was down somewhat. The curveball to Mark Reynolds. That was an impressive home run, able to hook a ball away like that off speed, and Stephen Drew with the line drive out of here. Again, a sinker that tried to get away, just left it down the middle of the plate.
The major league record for consecutive home runs in a game by one team in one inning is 5. In 1966, the Kansas City Royals. It's happened on a couple of occasions. Cincinnati did it. Actually, Cincinnati was the victim of it on 4 occasions. The Brewers did it back in '06. Had 5 consecutive home runs, or 5 home runs in an inning. Bill Hall, Damian Miller, Brady Clark, J.J. Hardy, and Prince Fielder.
4 in a row is pretty impressive.
Yeah, 4 in a row. That ties a major league record. Consecutive home runs. That one's hit high in the air, left center. Dickerson makes a catch for the out. So the inning is over, but the Diamondbacks tie a major league record at first glance. 4 consecutive home runs, and it's 4-2 D-backs.
home run. Back-to-back, Casey McGee goes to right field. And then it's the Diamondbacks' turn. 4 consecutive home runs. Adam LaRoche, Montero, Mark Reynolds, and Stephen Drew. And as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, the Diamondbacks with a 4-2 lead. Our cousin subs game reset.
Yeah, Corey Hart leads off. We went scrambling to the record books after the 4th home run in that run. Let me make one correction as well. I believe I said Kansas City Royals in '66. That was obviously the Kansas City A's. And the Major League record done on numerous occasions. 5 occasions with 5 home runs in an inning. But consecutively, the Diamondbacks just tied a Major League record with 4 consecutive home runs. And it's interesting that Trevor Hoffman was on the receiving end. So he's been involved twice now. Back when the Dodgers did it in 2006. As Hart is retired. AT&T Trivia tonight. The 4 Major League teams that Kirk Gibson played for during his career. You know about the Dodgers and the Tigers. Well, how about the Royals and the Pirates to finish up his career in 1992? Well, Fielder at the plate. He delivered a home run in the 2nd inning. Back-to-back home runs for the Brewers. That's impressive enough, but the Diamondbacks come back with 4 in a row. And just taking it a step further, that game for the Dodgers against San Diego when Los Angeles hit 4 consecutive home runs, J.D. Drew was the 2nd in those 4. His brother Stephen Drew, the 4th in the 4 in a row here tonight. Coincidence, Rock?
The Drew brothers. Part of history. Yes, I do think it's a coincidence.
So the 7th occasion where a Major League team has hit 4 consecutive homers.
Do you think a higher power might be involved?
I'm just saying. You got Trevor Hoffman, J.D. Drew, Stephen Drew. Just weaving the thread. Milwaukee is a part of that 4 consecutive homer record, now twice. The Brewers tonight, the Milwaukee Braves had 4 in a row. Back in '61, Eddie Matthews, Hank Aaron, Joe Adcock, and Frank Thomas with 4 consecutive homers. Fielder strikes out, and it's out number 2 for Daniel Hudson.
That ball speed pitch, and Prince chased it down and in. That changeup that we've been hearing about, he hadn't thrown too many until this stretch through the lineup. It's been basically fastball slider from Hudson, and able to get Prince on a pretty good changeup out of the zone. You know, talking to the folks with the Diamondbacks, they were telling us that it's basically 2 very good pitches for Hudson. A fastball that he kind of slings that had some natural movement to it, and a changeup. So he didn't throw many sliders, but that hasn't been the case so far tonight.
McGee saws one off into center field, a base hit. Well, Casey is 2 for 2 and a 2-out base hit. Will bring Chris Dickerson to the plate.
Well, Casey keeps that bat up and keeps it up, which allows him to get on top of pitches that are up and still able to keep those hands on inside and fight that ball up and in. And strong enough to dump it into center field.
Inside, almost hit him. Hudson giving up 4 consecutive hits in the second inning. The first 2 home runs, but a couple of base running blunders cost the Brewers in that second inning. Dickerson rounded second too far. He actually slipped and fell on his way to third in that inning and was thrown out. And then Escobar was doubled up on a soft liner from Lucroy.
Yeah, ran themselves right out of that inning. Yeah, things going pretty well. Able to stretch some hits together, 4 in a row.
Ball and 2 strikes on Dickerson. Dickerson was swinging a red-hot bat in his minor league rehab assignment, playing in AAA. Dickerson was hitting .442. And down he goes on strikes. Hudson punches him out. His 6th strikeout. And it's 4-2 Arizona as we head to the 5th inning at Miller Park.
P.M. at Hellfair Field. Test drive a 2010 Chevy Malibu, Traverse, or Equinox and get 2 tickets to a 2010 future Brewers game. Visit Brewers.com for details.
Dave Bush back on the mound. And a 4-2 Diamondbacks lead. Bush in the 5th inning now. Kelly Johnson leading off for Arizona, their second baseman. Well, the Diamondbacks making a little history here in Milwaukee at the Brewers' expense. Bush, the first pitcher since Mike Caldwell to give up 4 home runs in an inning. Caldwell gave up 4 homers against Boston back in 1980.
Well, the 4 home runs certainly, they're going to hurt you, but the fact that they're back to back to back to back, they're all solo shots. That's not going to be too bad for you. So 4 runs. Brewers still in this ball game. It's the home runs that you give up with men on base. Those are the killers.
Now, all of the runs tonight produced by the home run ball, as that one got a piece of Woody's camera. You're going to have to pay for that, Woody. It's going to come right out of your check. Just a little dent. Swing and a miss.
You try to disrupt him. He's locked in. Those guys don't have a chance to daydream like we do. High fastball. Remember the home run that Drew hit? Down. You know, it's a little bit above the knees, but that one elevated up around the letters and gets the swing and a miss. Actually, Johnson. See what I mean about daydreaming?
Did you say something wrong?
I called him Stephen Drew. It was Kelly Johnson.
Upton with a bouncer out to Escobar. 2 outs in the inning. Well, ladies baseball basics for women presented by Associated Bank is August 28th. You can learn all about Brewers baseball from women in the organization during this fun day-long event. For details, visit brewers.com/basics or call 414-902-4424. And your master of ceremonies, none other than Bill Schroeder.
I will be there at the lunch portion of the festivities, as you would anticipate. The Q&A with, last year Ken Maka was there, and a Brewer player, Casey McGee, and his wife were in attendance.
Corey Hart will make the catch, and a good bounce back inning for Bush. 4-2, the Diamondbacks lead it. We head to the home fifth. By Airtran, go, there's nothing stopping you. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Back at Miller Park earlier today, the folks from Clements putting on a crew grill. And all the sausages came out there, keeping a pretty good distance from the grill.
It was hot out there.
Yeah.
Pete Ashenbrenner, our buddy from Clements, was the guy manning that. That was a mega grill. Did you see the size of that thing?
As Escobar bounces out.
And needed every inch, because he grilled about 400 brats, hot dogs, and Italian sausages. Did you see the beef sticks over there on the grill?
Yeah, I like to. That's a good call on the beef
I've told you about that before. That was a Pete Ashenbrenner idea.
That's where you learned that from?
He came up with a sandwich called a double header. It is a hamburger. You take a bratwurst, you split it down the middle. After you grill a little bit, then you grill the inside. You put them together, put some ketchup on it, some cheese. That's some good eating now.
The crew well fed before the game today.
Yep, our friends from Clements.
Well, we appreciate Clements coming out, and we try to do it every year. We usually do it with the Diamondbacks in town. It's been a tradition, I guess.
Right.
With the crew from Arizona, D-backs television, and our crew.
Darren Sutton and Mark Grace. Love their bratwurst.
I want to say wasn't it Tom Brenneman who started the tradition?
Tom Brenneman loved the brats here at Miller Park. There they are.
all knotted up.
D. Sut, Mark Grace. I would imagine they
both talking at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a strike to Lucroy.
They were out there, and what was it, about 90 degrees out there down at the South Dock. They were saying, "You call this hot?" We're from Arizona. We'll let you know what hot is.
It was about 112 today in Phoenix.
It's a cool front.
It's a dry heat, though. Hudson had that one blemish in the second inning. Ran into a rough spot with the Brewers in back-to-back homers, but he has been sharp in every other inning. And now his 7th strikeout.
Well, they call him a long armer, kind of slings it out there, gets some natural movement on it, keeps this one down, and Jonathan swings over the top of it. There's that doubleheader we were talking about. You can see how hot it is. I'm starting to sweat through my shirt. Little nose, little drip coming off the nose. Check it out, Mark Grace. You see the brat there and the hamburger. I love summer. Get a nice pit going and have some Clement sausage.
Trying to figure out what pit you're talking about. The armpit or the grill pit?
All of it.
Bush. Bouncing ball is going to sneak its way through a base hit. Now the Brewers pitchers lead the major leagues in hits. That is the 47th. Diamondbacks are right behind him in second with 43. And that extends the inning.
Now, most of their hits came from a guy no longer with their ball club, Dan Herron. He got traded away. He had a good start to his season with the bat. And Dave Bush able to find one into center field, keeping it going for Ricky Weeks. Pitchers hits and good pinch hitting. One of the reasons why Ricky Weeks has been able to drive in so many runs. Guys at the bottom of the order getting on base and Ricky driving them in.
Well, Ricky a chance to tie it up with a home run here. Lined out back to the pitcher his last time up. Ricky is 0 for 2. Hudson has a career high 7 strikeouts. Struck out the side in the first inning. And a swing and a miss. Weeks down again. 8th strikeout for Daniel Hudson. And the Diamondbacks lead at 4-2. We're on our way to the 6th inning. Hudson impressive so far. Awareness and money for multiple sclerosis, a disease her mother has been fighting for the past 27 years. You can follow Ashley on her journey. MS Run the U.S. Learn about her plan, how to donate, and the nationwide tribute to her mother. Follow her trek by watching Bucks and Brewers baseball throughout the season and by logging on to foxsportswisconsin.com. It's great to see Ashley yesterday. The Brewers making a sizable donation to her cause as well, and her trek continues now as she continues to head east, and they're hoping to end up in New York. So we wish her the best. It was great seeing her yesterday in person, and she's raising a lot of money. Montel Williams was in attendance yesterday as well. Part of our commercial-free Brewers Community Foundation telecast yesterday, and it was a roaring success. The Brewers, they still haven't tallied up all the numbers, but raising just a ton of money for various charities the Brewers support.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Again, a lot of the stories that are out there in Milwaukee and southeastern Wisconsin, all around the state for that matter. The Brewers Community Foundation, they do good work.
And we'll have the updates on the totals this weekend. It'll take a little time to process all of the numbers and get the auction items to their rightful owners. Miguel Montero leads off. Part of that string of 4 in a row. He was the second in the string of 4 in a row. Montero, his 6th of the year, his 2nd in this series, and surely a no-doubter into deep right field into the bleachers.
They had 4 home runs coming in to the series and two in back-to-back days.
The 7th occasion in Major League Baseball history that 4 consecutive home runs has been hit. I was just looking at these other occasions. I'm fascinated by numbers like this. Things you don't see very often in a Major League game, and you think about how many games are played every day, every season, and to have just 7 in the history of the game.
All right.
But there have now been 4 occasions where this has happened in the last 5 seasons. After a 24-year gap, or a 22-year gap between instances. Last time it was done, Rock, was in 08. The White Sox and the Royals. That was Tomei, Konerko, Alexei Ramirez, and Juan Uribe. And then look at that. In each of 3 consecutive years it was done. We mentioned the J.D. Drew run in 06 for the Dodgers. His brother Stephen Drew hit one here tonight. But then you got to go all the way back to 64. And then there were 3 occasions that it was done in a 4-year stretch from 61 to 64. So I guess they come in bunches.
Yeah. Now in the era of the home run, I mean, what, in the last 20 years? Home runs have been hit at a record clip. 15, 20 years, you would expect it to be a little bit more often. You know, 4 home runs in an inning, 5 in an inning, which the Brewers were able to do, but 4 in a row, that's a pretty good feat. That's hard to do.
The Major League record for homers in an inning is 5, as we mentioned. Now the Brewers had back-to-back home runs in the 2nd and 4 consecutive hits. You know, you think about a game with 4 home runs in a row, and you're thinking about a high-scoring game, a blowout-type game, but not the case here. This one's still tight. It's just 4-2. Bush still right in it.
And again, you know, I guess the advantage, if you're going to give up 4 home runs in an inning, you want them all consecutive because at least 3 of them you know are going to be solo shots. First one might not be, but the other 3 will be. So because of that, you're going to stay in the game. Hey, you use the old Burt Blyleven theory. Remember that year he gave up over 50 home runs? A large majority of those home runs that he gave up, solo shots.
Lucroy plays that one off the line, a fair ball. Reynolds retired, and Montero into second base. A swinging bunt by Reynolds.
Yep, right off the end of the bat on a cutter, and Jonathan Lucroy able to get out there quick as a cat and keep it fair. Right about on that first baseline. He grabs it and gets the out. Got to clear the runner first. Get a throwing lane and get him out.
So one away, a runner at second. Here's Stephen Drew. Drew was the final home run in the 4 in a row. Well, Todd Coffey loosening in the Brewers bullpen. Bush trying to work through this 6th inning. There's a strike on the corner. 2-1.
There's a good pitch down and away right there. That's the pitch that he tried to throw to Drew when he hit the home run. But he left it too much over the middle of the plate. That one right on the corner. Not much you're going to do with that. Might have got a break off that corner.
And it evens at 2-2 on Stephen Drew. Now for the Brewers in the 6th inning, it'll be Kane, Hart, and Fielder. So you know Maka would love to get Bush through this inning in a 4-2 game and a chance for a rally and a chance at a victory for Dave Bush. But first things first, he's got to get through the 6th.
Been the nemesis inning for most of the Brewers starters. Getting through that 6th inning. Manny Parra's had a tough time with it lately. And now Dave Bush.
Last night Parra went 5 1/3. Gave up a couple of base runners in the 6th and was taken out. But his runners were left stranded by Coffey. A game the Diamondbacks would win 2-1. Parra did not factor in the decision. And there's a walk. 2 on now for Arizona. 2 walks in the 6th inning.
Now it's time for tonight's hammer to the game winner. It's Bobby V's in Sparta. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours at 902-4572, Bobby V's gets 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite.
Now Bush in a pickle here in the 6th, but he is at the bottom of the order. Gerardo Parra batting, the 8th place hitter for the Diamondbacks, with 2 on and 1 out.
You know where Sparta is?
No.
It's on your way to La Crosse. You know, Toma, you got that split 94, splits off to La Crosse.
Up there west, on the way to
Toma.
like when we drive toward Minneapolis.
Right. Sparta very close to Damian Miller territory.
Saw Damian at the ballpark last homestand. He usually brings a big crowd from La Crosse with him. Damian was all dressed up. Flip-flops, t-shirt, and shorts with pockets on the outside, just like you like them.
Just like Jeff Cirillo, right?
I said, Damian, we'd love to have you up in the booth, but I don't know. You're hardly eligible to be in the stadium.
He's retired now. Couldn't get on a golf course looking like that, right?
No, exactly.
Not some, at least the ones you play.
0-2 to Parra. Bush looking for a ground ball to get him out of the inning. And that hits Parra. And the bases are loaded. Yeah, we'll see what Ken Maka does here. That is going to bring the manager to the mound, and it is another pitching change in the 6th inning. That is a familiar walk for the Brewers skipper this year. Bases loaded, 1 out, and to the bullpen goes Maka, and we'll take a break. Stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Due North Outdoors tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. only on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Todd Coffey is in the pitch for Milwaukee. His 52nd appearance, and he is in a familiar spot here in the 6th, trying to get out of a jam with the Diamondbacks having the bases loaded at this point.
Yeah, came in a very similar situation last night. Got 2 outs, gave up a hit, and struck out a batter. And you're right. I mean, Todd Coffey now is that guy that comes in the 5th, 6th inning to get the starter out of some trouble. It's been happening a little bit too often.
Now the Brewers catch a bit of a break with the pitcher coming up here, Daniel Hudson. So bases loaded. Hudson will stay in there. He is pitching well and has a 4-2 lead. So Kirk Gibson is going to leave him in for his arm. Although Hudson does have 1 hit this season. He's 1 for 8. It's only his 3rd start in the National League. And you always have to be leery of a squeeze when a pitcher is at the plate. Corner infielders are in for the Brewers. He swings away and swings and misses at a slider.
And the slider's starting to come around for Todd Coffey. There was a stretch after he came off the DL. He was hanging that pitch, and it was getting hit hard. Lately, he's been able to put it down and away on a relatively consistent basis to right-handers. Needs to do that right here. You got the pitcher up, get the strikeout, and then get Chris Young, get out of this mess.
Into right center, well hit. On the run is Dickerson. He cannot get it. That is going to go to the wall, and that's going to plate 3 runs. The pitcher, Daniel Hudson, drives in 3 with a double. And the Diamondbacks have opened it up here. It is 7-2 Arizona.
Well, 2 walks, a hit batter, and a double by the pitcher. Not much you could say about that. Fastball down the middle. And Daniel Hudson gives it a pretty good ride into right center. Dickerson shading him into the gap, not able to get there. And Gerardo Parra with great speed, able to score easily all the way from first base. Brewer outfield wasn't very deep because the pitcher was up and he knocked one to the wall.
Three runs are in, 7-2 Arizona. And here's Chris Young now. The Diamondbacks pitcher doing major damage here in the 6th. It closes the book on Dave Bush. 5 1/3. He gives up 7 earned runs.
Now the fastball pretty flat in that last pitch to Hudson, and boy, I tell you, he put a pretty good swing on it. A guy coming over from the American League, down in the minor leagues, didn't have too many at bats, and put a good swing on that baseball.
Still just 1 out. Hudson out at second base. And Young able to lay off. 2 balls and a strike to count on Chris Young. Boy, what a frustrating inning. D-backs get 4 consecutive homers in the 4th. They get 3 RBIs from their pitcher here in the 6th on a double to right center. No question, it's been a struggle for Coffey this year.
Well, it's been a struggle since he's come off the disabled list. He was pretty good before that time.
He hurt his thumb while at the plate, and it was the right thumb on his pitching hand. He has lacked consistency since his return, as Young draws the walk.
His first 18 games, a 2.20 earned run average and a 1-0 record. He started out pretty well. Since going on the DL, or coming off the disabled list on June 20th, and ERA at about 5.5. So maybe not quite back to 100%.
Coffey was so impressive last year. He had a setup role for Hoffman. That almost hits Kelly Johnson. Still just 1 out, and the Brewers need some things to turn around quickly on the mound. 7 runs on 9 hits for Arizona. David Risky loosening in the bullpen. Johnson is hitless tonight. He and Justin Upton, the two Diamondbacks in the starting lineup, without a hit at this point. Everybody else at least one, including the pitcher Hudson, who just cleared the bases with a double. Three walks, a hit batter, and a double in this inning. Three and one to count. So the final numbers on Dave Bush: he goes 5 1/3, gives up 8 hits and 7 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he hit a batter. And on the receiving end of a major league record is the D-backs deliver 4 consecutive home runs in the 4th inning to tie the major league record. And that's ball 4. So now the bases are loaded again. Still just one away, and Coffey will face Justin Upton.
And activity once again in that Brewers bullpen. 4 home runs in the 4th, now 4 walks in the 6th. And not much defense can do when you give up 4 walks in an inning. 4 walks, a hit batter, and a double by the pitcher.
All right, here's Upton now. Upton rolled into a double play in the 1st. But normally tough to double up with his speed.
Yeah, it seems as though he didn't get out of the box very well. Maybe he got caught up with something in the batter's box, but doesn't really seem to be running all that well in this series. Maybe something going on with him.
Another breaking ball from Coffey. Count evens at 1-1. The Brewers will have Kane, Hart, and Fielder due up in the 6th inning. And Coffey trying to stop the bleeding here. 3 runs in. It's been 2 big innings for the Diamondbacks tonight. A 4-run 4th, now 3 in the 6th. And 9 hits for Kirk Gibson's club. I'll tell you, the Diamondbacks playing pretty good baseball here. They took a series from the Padres, the division leading San Diego Padres. Had a chance at a sweep against San Diego. They've won the first 2 games of this series and lead here tonight 7-2. So Kirk Gibson has them rallying a little bit.
Now demanding intensity. That's what he demanded of his teammates when he was playing. Have all your fun you want, but once that game starts, you get between those white lines, forget it. It's all business. And that's what Kirk Gibson has tried to relay to this ball club. And if they don't get it, they sit the bench. It's kind of a refreshing way to look at things these days.
Gibson is 14-21 as the D-backs manager, taking over for A.J. Hinch. Bouncing ball to 3rd. McGee to 2nd. And the throw to 1st is up the line. They actually had a chance there. And you're right, Rock. Upton is not running well at all.
No, I mean, there's got to be something going on with the legs or something, because he's just kind of trotting down to first base. And ordinarily he does not do that. But he does drive in a run. You know, to throw a little bit off the mark from Ricky, and it cost the Brewers another run.
So it's 8-2.
This is ordinarily a ball that, as you see the pitch by pitch, Todd Coffey trying to get him with the slider. He kept that pitch down and away. Finally gets the slider a couple of hops to Corey, or I should say Casey McGee. And ordinarily that's not even going to be close with Justin Upton running. when he's healthy. But a good throw would get him.
So 2 outs, 8-2 Diamondbacks. First and third for LaRoche, a notorious first ball swinger, and he cuts and misses. LaRoche hit the first pitch out against Bush in the 4th inning to start that 4 in a row. In a span of 10 pitches, the Diamondbacks hit those 4 home runs.
Yeah. And jumping on pitches that are either down in the strike zone to lefties, up in the strike zone to the right-handers. Just one of those innings for Dave Bush. But the encouraging thing was in the 5th inning, a 3-up, 3-down inning, and came out in the 6th and just couldn't find the plate.
Yep, it was a 4-2 game when this inning started. Now it's 8-2. Strike, 1-2 the count. Coffey now with 19 pitches already. He's given up a hit and 2 walks. The out on a fielder's choice. Got him. So the inning finally comes to an end, but 4-run score for the Diamondbacks. And they've opened it up. It's 8-2. But then the Diamondbacks tied a major league record with 4 consecutive home runs. LaRoche, Montero, Mark Reynolds, and Stephen Drew in a span of 10 pitches in the 4th. Meanwhile, Daniel Hudson, despite the 2 home runs, he has been outstanding. And then Hudson drove in 3 runs at the plate with his double to right center. So he's having quite a day here in the major leagues in just his 3rd start as a Diamondback.
Back-to-back youngsters for the Diamondback starters have been very good. Enright, now Hudson. And have really, other than solo home runs in this last couple of days for the Brewers, there hasn't been much going on offensively for the crew. Not yet.
Now Hudson has a career high 8 strikeouts. Just his 8th major league start. He got a little time last year with the White Sox. Started the year this year in AAA Charlotte, 11 wins down there, promoted to the big leagues. On the 11th of July was Hudson in Chicago, and then he was traded to the Diamondbacks on the 30th of July. D-backs sending Edwin Jackson to Chicago, who pitched yesterday. White Sox lost, but Jackson has pitched pretty well in both of his starts for Chicago. As Kane rolls out, one away in the 6th.
Yeah, Hudson now including a scoreless 5th inning. Yes, 4 runs he's allowed in now 21 innings of work. That's pretty good. With 1 out here in the 6th inning.
Bunch of finals already in from all across the league today. A lot of day games on what is traditionally a getaway day in the major leagues. This series actually continues tomorrow. Roy Oswalt, how about his home debut? A 6-hit shutout the Phillies put on the Dodgers. Oswalt won his 7th game. 2-0 was the final score. Philadelphia beating the Dodgers at Citizens Bank Park. Oswalt beat Chad Billingsley. Brad Lidge got the save. And Oswalt went 7 shutout innings and just 5 hits as Hart strikes out. 2 outs.
Yeah, Roy Oswalt has never lost at Citizens Bank Park.
It's a good way to endear yourself to the home fans now, right?
5-0, 2.08 earned run average, and now his home ballpark.
The other big trade, Cliff Lee, he was on the mound tonight as well for Texas. They had the they had the Yankees in town. And it's 6-2 Texas. Lee still in the game. He's given up a couple of runs on 5 hits. Has the lead in the 7th in Arlington. Texas has picked up a couple of games in that series. Might as well. He's doing everything else. The pitcher makes the catch on a pop-up. Bottle, taste greatness. And by Toyota. Thank you for standing by us. For more information, visit buyatoyota.com. Miller Lite, what's on tap? No television tomorrow for the finale of this series. You can catch the game on Brewers radio. And then we're back on the air Friday night in Colorado. Brewers and the Rockies beginning at 7:30 for Brewers Live on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Little road trip, 3 in Colorado, 2 in St. Louis. And then right back here in Milwaukee next week. The San Diego Padres coming to town. David Risky is on the pitch in relief of Todd Coffey. It is 8-2 Arizona. A pair of 4-run innings for the Diamondbacks. The next homestand will be the Brewers and the Padres, the Dodgers and the Pirates. A 9-day, 10-day, 9-game homestand when it's all said and done. Miguel Montero, he belted his 6th home run in that 4th inning. He's been aboard twice. 1 for 2 with a walk and 2 runs scored. Risky strikes him out.
David Risky, 90 miles an hour. He's starting to get that velocity up there a little bit. There it is, right on the outside corner. Well done. Coming in, throwing strikes. PNC Bank will light up the sky with a post-game fireworks show at Miller Park. That follows the Brewers game on Friday, August 27th. A 15-minute show will begin after the conclusion of the Brewers game that night, weather and game time permitting.
So we hope for a dry night and a regulation 9-inning game.
Yeah, because if they close the roof, I guess no fireworks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be.
See.
I wouldn't want to be in the upper deck for that. Of course, they don't blast them off in here, do they? Out in the parking lots.
Designated location outside in a safe distance from the patrons.
Right.
I used to be on a fireworks crew. Oh yeah.
You've done everything.
I know it.
I think you're making half of this stuff up.
No, when you're from a small town, you do a lot of stuff like that.
You're on a fireworks crew. What'd you do?
We lit fireworks. We set them up and we lit them.
Any accidents ever?
No. Everything was good.
It's a dangerous job.
Yeah, it's a high school job.
Next thing you're going to tell me, you built skyscrapers.
Oh yeah, done that.
Climbed mountains.
Just 2.
You've done it all. I'm jealous.
Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for David Risky. I don't like to brag.
No. You hardly ever talk about that moon landing.
First one was really nerve-wracking, but the second one was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
That was right after I pulled the tarp by myself. One thing I have not done, though, is play the game in the major leagues like you.
Right.
So that trumps everything, including the moon landing. Risky has some swing and miss stuff going tonight.
Yep, the high fastball, the split-fingered fastball down in the strike zone. He's got a couple of strikeouts on fastballs. One up in the zone that he was able to get Mark Reynolds.
One and 2 to Drew. A home run and a walk. 2 runs scored for Drew tonight. See if Risky can strike out the side here. Sometimes in a game like this, You see some big swings from the hitters. Drew takes a ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Stephen Drew.
Good patience by the Diamondbacks once again. We talked about those 4 walks in the 6th. They will strike out a bunch, but they have an ability to draw the walks as well.
Into the opposite field. Long run for Kane, but he's there, and the inning is over. So a scoreless inning for Risky and a couple of strikeouts. He got Montero and Reynolds. And it's stretch time in Milwaukee.
Jerry was a teammate of Mike Caldwell's the last time that happened to a Milwaukee Brewer pitcher. What did he do? How did he react? How did he get over it, Jerry?
Well, it's one of those days just like Bush. He couldn't throw the ball where he wanted, got the ball up over the plate. Boston hit some home runs. He was disgusted. I remember him coming out of the game. He was so mad, took his uniform top off, threw it on the floor, walked in, sat by the locker by himself. Next game out, gave us a great outing. Fought right back the next outing.
All right, you got to imagine Dave Bush has that same kind of mentality. A rarity, of course, here tonight for Dave Bush. We'll cover that during our postgame coming up on Brewers Live, presented by Lincoln Mercury, and so much more on the way, Brian and Bill.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Jerry. A postgame instructional tonight as well with Bill and Jerry. And what will your role be tonight, Rock, in the instructional?
We're going to be talking about the pitching deliveries. I might squat down and maybe catch a couple.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean, uh-oh?
You've had a big day already.
Do you recommend I not do it?
Casey McGee with his 3rd hit. I just don't want you to overextend yourself.
No, I'm good.
I'm not worried about you going down in the squat position. I'm worried about getting back up.
Oh, he's got good control.
He does.
They can help me get up once we're done with the instructional.
Augie kind of throws that natural cutter, though. It's got a little slider action when he wants it.
Little cut, little sink.
Yeah.
That's why guys, really don't like throwing batting, taking BP off of them. Of course, they light him up pretty good in fantasy camp, as you well know.
Yeah, I was there. Yes, Jerry was not my manager. I played for Don Money.
He throws a nice ball, doesn't he?
Nice ball. Right down the middle. Dickerson had his first Brewer hit in the 2nd inning. A single to right. See if the Brewers can fight their way back here tonight. Bottom of the 7th, down 8-2. 2 4-run innings for Arizona. Hudson has been impressive tonight. So now there are 2 Hudsons in the National League that are pitching well. Tim Hudson in Atlanta and Drew Hudson for the Diamondbacks. No relation. This Hudson was just drafted in 08 and already to the big leagues. Didn't take him long. A polished college pitcher once again. Was out of Old Dominion.
And has done a real good job keeping the fastball down. He works it down in the count, early in the count, or down in the zone early in the count, and gets the Brewers to chase up in the zone when he's been ahead with 2 strikes. Very similar to Enright last night. I mean, they seem to be a lot more mature than their years would tell you. They have good poise, good mound presence, and they've been pounding the strike zone. Hudson has not walked a batter tonight.
Until now, Dickerson draws the walk. And first and second for the Brewers in the 7th inning. Our text question tonight, courtesy of Ho-Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin. Shannon from Sussex wants to know who throws batting practice for the Brewers before the game.
All of the coaches throw the BP. Eddie Cedar throws Group 2. Dale Swaim throws Group 1.
He throws a nice ball.
Yes, he does.
And Bill Schroeder throws BP on occasion.
I throw BP on the road, early batting practice. Marcus Hannon will get in there. Joe Crawford throws. Brad Fisher's been throwing quite a bit to the pitchers. Willie Randolph throws BP, usually Group 3. Rick Peterson, Ken Maka do not throw batting practice. Willie just started to throw again. Had surgery in the offseason.
There's Marcus Hanel, bullpen catcher. Now 2 on here for Milwaukee. And Escobar trying to keep it going. Nobody out. Brewers got 2 runs off Hudson in the 2nd on back-to-back home runs. Fielder and McGee. Casey has 3 hits tonight. He's out at 2nd. Dickerson with a lot of speed at 1st. And Escobar pops it up. And Hudson is under it. And it pops out of the glove. And McGee is on his way to 3rd. Everybody's able to advance.
Escobar's out.
Escobar out on an infield fly. The runners were on their own, however, and they both advance. What a crazy play at the mound. It looked like Hudson was in a perfect position to make the catch again, but he scurried out of the way at the last minute.
No, it's going to be an out. You call it a pop out. You see Hudson's still in there. Drew and Reynolds fighting for it. It's going to be an error on somebody, allowing the other base runners to advance.
I guess you got to give it to Reynolds. It hit his glove, although Drew is the one who made the contact that forced the ball out of Reynolds' glove.
Not sure who you give the put out to, though. I think they're going to give the put out to Stephen Drew because he actually touched the baseball, but he also gets the error.
So an E6, 2nd and 3rd, and a base hit. The Brewers can put 2 on the board here.
Not often you get a put out and an error on the same play.
The infield fly rule. And once it's called, the runner's on their own. As Lucroy pops it up. And for a minute there, I thought we were going to see Daniel Hudson make the catch, which I don't have the record books, nor do they even keep the stat, but you have to think that would have been the first time in a long time, if not ever, that the pitcher has actually caught 2 pop-ups.
2 pop-ups and a line drive. Remember, Ricky Weeks had a line out back to Hudson, so that would have been 3 of them.
And you almost never see pitchers catch pop-ups in the infield.
No, he's the one that created that problem for Stephen Drew and Mark Reynolds. He needs to get out of there. I mean, it's amazing that he was able to catch the 1. You never see that. You got to get out of the way. Allow the third baseman, ordinarily it's either the third baseman or the first baseman to go in and catch pop-ups on the mound. But because nobody was there the first time, he stayed there and got in the way.
Now Joe Inglet pinch hitting. The Brewers trying to salvage something out of the 7th inning. Trevor Hoffman getting loose for Milwaukee. He'll have the 8th. 2 on, 2 out. Inglet has been much better as a pinch hitter this year as opposed to when he starts games. And he started the last 2 nights hitting .326 as a pinch hitter, .217 in his other at-bats. And he leads the major leagues in pinch hits with 15. That one sliced into left. Parra is there, and the side is retired. The Brewers come up empty. The Farm Aid is coming to Miller Park October 2nd. The Music and Food Festival just announced the additions of Kenny Chesney, Nora Jones, Jason Mraz, Jeff Tweedy, Band of Horses, the Bodines, Amos Lee, and Robert Francis. All of those acts will join Willie Nelson, Neil Young, John Mellencamp, and Dave Matthews. Advance tickets have been extended through noon tomorrow and are available to Farm Aid members. General tickets will go on sale Saturday at 9 a.m. by calling 414-902-4000 or online at tickets.com. What a great event that's going to be right here at Miller Park. Now Daniel Hudson looks like he's done for the night. Handshakes in the dugout, and he has been impressive in his 3 big league starts for Arizona. 7 innings, 2 runs. They came on back-to-back home runs by Fielder and McGee, and a career-high 9 strikeouts for Hudson. Trevor Hoffman is in to pitch. He'll have the 8th in an 8-2 Diamondbacks lead.
I figure Trevor Hoffman to get an inning tonight, and John Axford, I would imagine. Ken Maka would like to have them both back in the ball game quickly because they both got roughed up a bit their last time out. Trevor picked up the loss the first game of this series.
Gerardo Parra leads off for Arizona. Ricky Weeks, nice easy hop. And Hoffman has his first out. Well, Trevor took the loss on Monday. Gave up 3 runs in an inning. But earlier on this homestand, he notched his 6th save of the year. It was quite a moment here at Miller Park. That was Saturday night. The Brewers won over the Astros 5-2. Hoffman got the save, number 597. Came through the doors, and Hell's Bells was ringing through Miller Park. It was a goosebump moment here, and that 600 number is still out there, but saves have been hard to come by for Trevor Hoffman. 596 came against the Diamondbacks way back in May, early May. He was stuck on 596 until Saturday.
And you would figure at some point in the next 2 months, month and a half, he's going to get 3 saves. I think that's not only a stated goal for Trevor Hoffman, I think that the organization would like to see that happen right here at Miller Park.
The 0-2 to Church, the pinch hitter, and down he goes on a swing and miss strike, and a changeup from Hoffman.
When he gets on top of that pitch and gets that sinking action going away from that lefty, look at that pitch. Good pitch, Church, no chance. 3 pitches and see you later. 2 of them changeups.
The pitch that will send Hoffman to the Hall of Fame, the changeup. But he'll be the first to tell you it's how he locates the fastball that gives him the opportunity to throw the changeup. And when he's locating his fastball, his changeup is that much tougher.
And people say, how can you get outs when you're throwing 85, 86 miles an hour? But it's where you put that velocity on the fastball. You keep it on the corners, down in the zone, then you go with the changeup. You become very effective, but if you throw 86 miles an hour right down the middle, you never get to the changeup.
Now our Ultra Mode camera gives us a great look at the grip of Trevor Hoffman, the changeup grip, and how many pitchers have asked Trevor to show him that grip. No one's ever thrown that pitch better than Trevor Hoffman. As he walks Chris Young, here was the changeup, and look how he holds it with the loose fingers off the end.
Yeah, chokes it. He gets that tumble that when thrown well goes down and away from a left-hander, down and into a right-handed batter. It's the way you grip the baseball in your hand. You don't do anything different with your arm or your arm action or your feet or anything else. It's just the fact that the way you grip it, you choke it back, you hold it tight. And Trevor really doesn't do that, but he holds it tight with the thumb. Might not with the fingers.
So the pressure point for Hoffman, instead of like with a fastball where you have the pressure point on the fingertips, he actually pushes it back. The fingertips are actually off the baseball when he releases, and it just squirts out with that tumbling action. Into center. Dickerson going back at the track, and he makes a catch for the out. And the inning is over, and Trevor Hoffman with the grip that'll send him to the Hall of Fame on the changeup. 8-2. Daniel Hudson, with 7 innings, gives up just 2 runs. He also drove in 3 runs on a double to right center. That's what opened the game for the Diamondbacks in the 6th. They scored 4 runs in the 6th, had the 4 consecutive home runs in the 4th to tie a major league record. So it's Rafael Rodriguez on to pitch for Arizona as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Top of the order coming up. Rodriguez last pitched on Sunday against San Diego. Gave up a couple of runs in 2 innings.
Yeah, called up from AAA Reno on Wednesday. 3 games with the Reno Aces. I like that name. Posted a 3.38 ERA and an opponent batting average of .238. So he threw pretty well down in the minor leagues, getting an opportunity here tonight.
Ricky Weeks leads off. He is 0 for 3.
Rodriguez, another one of those acquisitions from that Dan Herron trade.
Yep, Rafael Rodriguez and Joe Saunders came to the Diamondbacks for Dan Herron. Herron pitching with the Angels. Diamondbacks did a good job in their trades this year. They picked up some talent and they cleared the way for Barry Enright, who we saw yesterday. A homegrown product. Boy, the Angels have fallen on hard times. The Angels are 8.5 games back of the Texas Rangers to start play today. Texas still leading New York. The Yankees scored a couple of runs in the 7th, but Cliff Lee and the Rangers up 6-4 as they go to the 8th inning in Arlington.
When's the last time the Angels were only a game over 500 at this point in the season? Oakland A's a half a game behind them. How about Oakland A's? Ben Sheets, Tommy John surgery today.
Yep.
Tommy John and flexor tendon surgery.
Had them both done.
He's you wonder if Benny's going to be able to come back.
Might be a career-threatening injury. We'll have to wait and see how. You know, it's not the surgery that's tough to come back from. It's the rehab process and all the setbacks that you go through.
It's a year, basically, for most.
Full count to Weeks. By the way, the Angels won today, 2-1. They beat the Royals in 10 innings. I saw where the Giants acquired Mike Fontenot from the Cubs. Chicago is in San Francisco tonight. The Giants put 3 on the board in the 1st inning. A 3-0 lead over the Cubs. Good series going on between the White Sox and the Twins as well. You figure that division's coming down to a tight finish again. Last 2 years they've had to play that extra game. As Weeks strikes out, 1 away in the 8th. Our U.S. Cellular text question this week. We want to hear from you. Will Ricky Weeks break the MLB record for most RBIs by a leadoff man? W for yes, X for no. 234-234 is the number, and you can text the corresponding letter.
Yeah, the Minnesota Twins back in 1st place in that division.
White Sox have a 6-1 lead tonight in the 9th over the Twins. So if it holds up, they're back square. They call that division the American League Central Division 163 for the extra game that division has played the last couple of seasons.
They may have to do it again. Talking about teams on hard times. How about the Tigers?
Yeah. 10 back to start the day as Kane rolls out. 2 outs in the inning.
They were hanging in there for a while.
St. Louis beat Cincinnati today. The Cardinals got another gem from Adam Wainwright. Wainwright is now 17-6
ERA under 2 yet?
Yep, 1.99 is his earned run average, second in the league behind Josh Johnson. Boy, that is some kind of year. And you figure Wainwright, if he stays healthy, stays on this pace, he is a lock for a Cy Young Award. He was probably 1 win away from a Cy Young Award last year.
Yeah, that Brewers comeback against the Cardinals after he was out of the ball game might have cost him the Cy Young, so he should get some sympathy votes. Although he probably shouldn't need them.
Cameron Lowe in the Brewers bullpen. Looks like he'll have the 9th. As Hart swings and misses, it's 1-2. So how about the Cardinals going to Cincinnati and sweep them? And now St. Louis in first place all by themselves. Wainwright beat Arroyo today. Rasmus homer.
So Brandon Phillips might have opened up a can of worms there with the Cardinals.
At least a can of crow. for one series anyway. So much talk about Ubaldo Jimenez, rightly so. Josh Johnson, Roy Halladay. But Wainwright is standing at the top right now. He's got the wins and the earned run average and 7 shutout innings today. As Hart draws the walk. So the Brewers with a base runner in the 8th. Good at bat by Corey Hart, and now Fielder will get a chance to swing it. Prince Fielder at the plate tonight, presented by Wendy's. The first of back-to-back home runs in the second. He is 1 for 3. Actually popped up to the pitcher in the 6th inning.
And a pop-up that was relatively high. You know, not one of those jam shot little bloops over to the pitcher that only he could catch. That was up there for a while, and neither Adam LaRoche at first or Mark Reynolds at third came in to get it.
It is so funny how pitchers just really aren't allowed to catch pop-ups.
But the sure-handed guy catches. That's what everybody screams in PFP. You go through infield drills, you hit pop-ups, get off the mound.
Get out
of the way.
You're a pitcher, and you need to leave now. You have no business involved in this play.
Well, it's a good thing that Hudson didn't do that last time Prince was at the plate.
Yeah, you think about how far every other infielder has to go to make a catch like that. And Fielder is drilled. So Prince wears another one.
And not even close. How many times have we seen it? Young pitchers coming in, trying to pitch inside, and just don't have the ability or the technique to be able to do it effectively. So Prince gets drilled. I mean, how do you miss by that much? I mean, you're a major league pitcher. Well, you're in the major leagues at least. And how do you miss that badly? That's impossible.
Mel Stoudemire out to have a visit with Rodriguez. Well, the Brewers continue to just get hit pretty much night after night, and by far and away lead the league. Fielder individually leads the league. That's the 20th time he's been hit. Albert Pujols has been hit once this year. Two on for McGee. And after he drills Fielder, he pinpoints one right on the outside corner against Casey McGee.
I really don't believe that, 95% of these hit batters are intentional.
It's off the glove. And that is going to get by everybody. McGee is safe on his 4th hit of the game.
A seeing eye up the middle. It looked like Rodriguez slowed it down a little bit, but it kind of eluded everybody else up the middle. Let's check it out. Looks like he got a piece of it. Got it up in the air. Had Steven Drew been able to field it cleanly, it had kind of a funny spin on it after it hit the glove. He missed it. And Casey McGee aboard for the 4th time.
Four hits for McGee, and that's going to do it for Rodriguez. And the Brewers all of a sudden down 6 runs, have a chance here. One swing of the bat, and this is a brand new ball game. We'll take a timeout, set up the new pitcher when we come back. McGee single to an error on Drew. Steven Drew had 5 errors all season, the best marked by a shortstop in the league. He has 2 errors tonight, and that set up a bases loaded opportunity. And instead of Chris Dickerson, Ryan Braun is going to come off the bench to hit, and he'll face Jordan Norberto as this crowd comes to their feet, not expecting Braun to play tonight.
He got called up in the minor leagues on July 4th. Good numbers down in the minor leagues, but no Ryan Braun down in AAA. Great opportunity for Braun. Good to see him with a bat in his hand.
An injury Sunday, a wrist injury. Checked out okay, and he gets his first at-bat since. And he is up there with a chance to deliver the Brewers right back into this game in the 8th.
Kirk Gibson apparently did not think that Ryan Braun was available tonight. He probably would not have brought in his lefty.
Dickerson, a left-handed hitter, taken out. And Braun now behind 0-2.
Yeah, good location down and away. Pulled the string just a bit, 85 miles an hour. That's a good spot for that pitch, and a good swing by Braun. He doesn't appear to be having any problems with that wrist.
Braun, the reigning National League Player of the Week, on a 5-hit game in Chicago last week, and he strikes out on 3 pitches. So the Brewers strand the bases loaded. The inning is over. We head to the 9th. A frustrating night for Brewers fans here at Miller Park.
back-to-back solo home runs by Prince Fielder and Casey McGee, the only blemish on his line tonight. Back-to-back very good starts by two very young starters for the Diamondbacks in this series. And oh yes, he can catch pop-ups.
Pitchers can catch pop-ups. It's a groundbreaking day for pitchers everywhere. And an historic night tonight for the Diamondbacks with the 4 consecutive home runs, tying a major league record. Cameron Lowe is in the pitch. Bunch of changes for the Brewers. Craig Counsell is in to play short as Lowe takes over on the mound for the 9th.
Yep, did a nice job in relief on Monday. Retired all 4 batters that he faced.
Upton with a base hit. So Counsell is in at short. Kane moves over to center. And Escobar into left field right now.
Yep, down and in, and not so much down, but in. Trying to get in further, but left it out of the plate just a bit. And Justin Upton with his first base hit tonight. Upton, one of the few Diamondbacks in this series that really hasn't done much.
Well, he is certainly not running well. Chance for 2 here. Weeks to Counsell. Easy double play as LaRoche rolls into a 4-6-3.
Good sinker that time. Watch Upton. He just ducks the head. No interest in getting down and trying to take Counsell out to try and break up that double play. Not forget it. I'm just going to get out of the way. And an easy double play for the Brewers.
So 2 outs. Cameron Lowe facing Montero. And that one is behind Montero. And now both benches are warmed.
Not sure what that is, but the warning to both benches. Now home plate umpire Kerwin Danley feel as though that's retribution for the hit batter for Prince Fielder.
And Weeks makes a nice play to end the inning. So we head to the bottom of the 9th. Last call for the Brewers. It's 8-2 Arizona. Eight to 2, the Diamondbacks lead it. Fans still having some fun here at Miller Park. Those who have hung around to the end. That's what I'm talking about. He's slapping himself silly. So 8-2 to the bottom of the ninth. And Alcides Escobar will lead off. So Casey McGee has been given a hit now. So it was never actually originally called a hit. And then we said it was changed to an error. That was false information. But then it was called an error. Now it has been changed to a hit. Does that make sense?
Did you say something, Brian? I wanted to say that for all season. You do that to me all the time. You're not upset with me. Did you say something, Rock?
Say something, Rock.
I thought it was a hit. That was a tough play for Stephen Drew. It kind of had some funny spin on it. Why not give him a hit?
Bottom line is it's a 4-hit game for Casey McGee. And an otherwise forgettable night at the ballpark. Escobar to right. Upton makes a catch for out number 1. Well, Norberto came in and struck out Ryan Braun to end the 8th with the bases loaded. No TV tomorrow. Back on the air Friday against the Rockies. But we want to invite you to Miller Park. We'll be here. We'll be sitting right in this booth. Maybe on the back bench. Travel day tomorrow, too, for the Brewers after the game. According to Mike Vasallo's game notes, Randy Wolf will match up against Rodrigo Lopez tomorrow. Chris Dickerson and Doug Davis having a chat. Going back to Denver Friday. Second trip to Colorado.
Unusual. Usually the Brewers go to Colorado once.
Last time the Brewers played the Rockies, that was in mid-June. That was while everybody else was in interleague play. Which is, I guess, why the second trip is necessary. Lucroy down on strikes, and it's out number 2 of this 9th inning. Second strikeout for Norberto. Craig Counsell's first trip to the plate and the last hope for the Brewers. This game got away from Milwaukee in the 6th. 4 runs came in on just 1 hit. In that inning, the Diamondbacks drew 4 walks. There was a hit batter and a 3-run double by the pitcher, Daniel Hudson. Hudson went 7 innings, just 2 earned runs, and in line for his 3rd consecutive win as a member of the Diamondbacks. That's making an impression right there.
Yeah, he's throwing well, and so did Enright. You can't say enough about these 2 young starters. On back-to-back nights for Arizona. They look good. First time through, you wonder if they're going to be able to make the adjustments necessary to continue that success that they've had their first run through the league. There's Enright.
How many mosquitoes did you get tonight, Rock?
None. The mosquitoes never bother me too much.
We're up to about 20 count over here on this side.
They like you, huh?
Me or Mikey, I'm not sure. Will pop up. Another pitcher is calling. And the catcher is going to make the catch. The frisky Arizona pitchers. That's the ball game. A rough night at the office for the Brew Crew tonight. One to forget. 8-2 Arizona. They do set or tie a major league record with 4 consecutive home runs, as Daniel Hudson picks up his 3rd win over Dave Bush, who takes the loss. Still much more to come on this game. We kick it out.